reach. Things you learn the hard way. Things you learn the hard way. Don't get married in a church called Mother of Our Sorrows. 'Cause if it don't feel right today, it won't feel right tomorrow. A baby will not be enough to get a man to stay. 'Cause you can't change or fix someone, you gotta let them walk away. Don't go to a dry well looking for a drink. Never leave your wedding band too close to the kitchen sink. Things you learn the hard way, some lessons you can't teach until you're living through them. Wisdom's out of reach. Things you learn the hard way. Things you learn the hard way. When someone's trust is broken, it's not an easy thing to fix. And when Grandpa comes for dinner, Lord, don't bring up politics. Be sure to call your mama every Sunday after Mass. You won't be ready when you lose her, and it happens way too fast. Sometimes the deepest healing comes through the darkest night, and you can't believe how often now your mother's words were right. Things you learn the hard way, some lessons you can't teach until you're living through them. Wisdom's out of reach. Things you learn the hard way. Things you learn the hard way. You ain't never gonna forget the things you learn the hard way. The things you learn the hard way. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm back home in North Carolina right now. I'm in Asheville for a month, and I'm doing a yoga teacher training because the 7 years that I have spent on the road doing this every night and doing this every day have really kind of messed up my shoulders and back at the ripe old age of 36. So I wanted to learn how to breathe more deeply and get a little more in touch with my body. And so I haven't played shows in about a month and a half or something like that. And as I was driving here, I was refreshing all the lyrics. You would think that all of your favorite songwriters would know every word to every song they've ever written. No, we forget them. And so I actually had to Google Emily Scott Robinson. Things you learn the hard way lyrics. And on the very last line on that little tag that says, "You ain't never gonna forget the things you learn the hard way," the person had corrected my grammar and said, "You ain't ever gonna forget." And I had a kind of a casual double negative in there. You ain't never gonna forget, which I know double negatives are problematic. My mom is a writer and an editor, and my dad is a teacher, so I never escaped the house ever saying a double negative. But when you have a guitar and a microphone, you can say whatever you want. But I thought, well, that's nice of them to assume that my grammar was better than it was. Okay. This next song I wrote after seeing some of my heroes play at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee. And have any of you all ever been to see a show at the Ryman? Yeah. They call it the Mother Church of Country Music. It's where the Grand Ole Opry used to be, and then they built a mall outside of Nashville and moved the Grand Ole Opry there. And the Ryman was basically in such disrepair that in the 80s and 90s. That's okay. Listen, the other week I was on stage and my phone rang by accident. So this is a safe space. If your phone's not on vibrate, I understand. So the Ryman is a really special place. It was brought back to life in the 90s by a bunch of musicians who loved it. And they've restored it, and it's an old church. And I got to see John Prine and Bonnie Raitt play there. It was fall of 2019. It was amazing. And it kind of gives me chills to think about the fact that, 5 months later, we would all be in a COVID lockdown. And that would be the first and only time I ever got to see John Prine play. He passed away that April from COVID. And that was such a special night because I went by myself. It was like a holy experience for me. And I sat in a seat, the only seat that I could afford was an obstructed view ticket. So there was a column right in front of me, blocking the center of the stage. And so I was in this cheap seat, watching my heroes, and wondering about the tension between wanting to be up there myself and the reality of where I was at that point in my career, and wondering if wanting it badly is enough, So I wrote this song from that place. This is called Cheap Seats. Oh, I've been right where you are, putting miles on my car, driving to some dead-end job each day, smiling for my tips, picking up those extra shifts, waitressing all my best years away. Some nights I'll buy a ticket and sit alone in the Mother Church up in the highest row. I'm in the cheap seats, watching the big show, hoping that one day I'll look back and know Thank you. Okay. I'm going to sing one of the songs about the. There are a couple of songs I have about the kind of the less glamorous moments of being a touring musician. And when I lived in an RV for 4 years full time, I didn't really have a home. And so not only was I living on the road, but I was traveling for work too. And it was kind of a lonely, it was a very transient feeling. So I wanted to share this song about the feeling of being a perpetual house guest. Luckily, you know, when I come home to Greensboro, I don't feel that way. Even though my parents did move and clean out our childhood rooms, it needed to happen eventually. This is called Borrowed Rooms and Old Wood Floors. And I hope this is the right key. We'll find out. Sorority sister, Mississippi. Old high school friend in Kansas City. The only thing that we have left to talk about are faded memories. I don't sleep at all or sleep too much. Can't sleep through a crying baby or a garbage truck. There's a note out on the counter saying help yourself to anything that you please. And borrowed rooms and old wood floors, and lay me down at night. You don't ask where home is anymore. It's just borrowed rooms and old wood floors. Shower's hot, hope it lasts. Hair is getting longer down my back. I slip under the water, close my eyes, and let it wash me clean. I live in other people's homes. Finish up the pot of coffee when it's cold. But my mother raised me right. I always write a thank you note and strip the sheets. And borrowed rooms and old wood floors, I lay me down at night. You don't ask where home is anymore. It's just borrowed rooms and old wood floors. Was it this cold last year? I can't remember. The leaves are turning early for September. I wish that I could stick around Another drive, another show, another stranger's house. And borrowed rooms and old wood floors. And lay me down at night. You don't ask where home is anymore. It's just borrowed rooms and old wood floors. Borrowed rooms and old wood floors. Thank you. I always like singing that one when my mom is here because she gets a shout out. She raised me right. Always write a thank you note. That's a lot of thank you notes when I'm on tour. Part of the reason I'm here is because of my mom. It's because of the Prayer Shawl Knitting Group social network. They get everything done around here. Not only do they knit prayer shawls, but they do a lot of networking. I got the chance to play and sing with Graham Sharp, Jane Sharp's son, who also is from Greensboro, and Jane is a member of the knitting group. And my mom said to me, you know, Jane and I have been knitting together prayer shawls, and she was talking to me about Graham, and Graham is in the Steep Canyon Rangers, a bluegrass band that formed at Chapel Hill, and they have been making music for a couple decades. They're amazing. And so she connected me. Our moms connected us. And when both the moms decide that a meeting needs to happen, the meeting happens. And it was great. I was just starting out, and Graham and I had breakfast in Asheville, and he was so wonderful, and he gave me shared with me some great advice, and we became friends. And when it came time to record the album that I made in 2021, is that right? Okay, time is blending together post-COVID. My album, American Siren, I was going to record it in Asheville, and I really wanted to have Graham and the Steep Canyon Rangers come and play on a song. And so they did, and since I had just signed with Oh Boy Records, John Prine's label, and he loves John, we also recorded a song that hasn't been released yet. It's going to be released on the next John Prine tribute record, and it's one of our favorite John Prine songs. It's called Unwed Fathers. I think this is the right key. Let me go down a half step. So one of the things that I love so much about John Prine's songwriting is that he never tells you what to think about anything. He just shows you, he just shows you a world, and he brings you into that person's world. And this is such a beautiful example of that. And so Graham is not here tonight with me to sing this, unfortunately, but I think he's played this concert series. Is that right? Yes. See, moms get stuff done. In an Appalachian Greyhound station, she sits there waiting in a family way. Goodbye, brother. Tell Mom I love her. Tell all the others I'll write someday. From a teenage lover to an unwed mother, kept under cover like some bad dream. While unwed fathers, they can't be bothered. They run like water from a mountain stream. What a chorus. chorus, that is, right? Woo! In a cold and gray town, the nurse says lay down. This ain't no playground, and this ain't home. Someone's children out having children in a gray stone building, all alone. From a teenage lover to an unwed mother, kept under cover like some bad dream, while unwed fathers, they can't be bothered. They run like water from a mountain stream. Somewhere else bound, Smoky Mountain Greyhound, she bows her head down, humming lullabies. Your daddy never meant to hurt you ever. He just don't live here, but you've got his eyes. From a teenage lover to an unwed mother, kept under cover like some bad dream, while unwed fathers, they can't be bothered. They run like water from a mountain stream. Yeah. Thank you so much. One of these days you'll hear it. It's recorded. It's just waiting in the wings. I totally had a lead into this next song, and I completely forgot it. This next one, I'm going to bring you back up for a minute. This next one, so that you don't get too deep in the mud with my emo song about being a touring songwriter, or songs about single mothers. This next song is about the less glamorous moments of being a touring artist, but on the funnier side. This one is called White Hot Country Mess. And I decided to write this one after I played in San Diego for the first time. And I was opening for a friend at a music venue, but most music venues are just bars. It really doesn't get better than church. And I have, I love playing in churches. And I also love it when people have the opportunity to drink a little alcohol if they want to. But this is so much better. So I was playing in a bar, and there was only one there was like a single stall women's bathroom. And I was the only woman there. It was all guys in the band, bartenders, a sound guy. And so I thought, okay, well, the crowd's not here yet, so I'll go do my makeup in the bathroom, like it's my bathroom. And I went to go try the door, and it was locked. And I was like, who is in my bathroom? And it was the sound guy. And he was in there for 10 minutes. And I thought, okay, well, I'm not going in there after him. So I kid you not, I went and did my makeup. I probably, at that point in the night, it wouldn't have mattered if I had mascara on or not. But I did my makeup by the light of a street lamp in the side mirror of my rental car, in the back alley next to a dumpster, And I thought that I should share that part of this life with you too. So. Been driving this old car around from coast to coast through little towns, pushing for 250,000 miles. I know where the gas is cheap, Walmart's where it's safe to sleep. I roll up to every show in style. I'm a white hot country mess in cowgirl boots and a thrift store dress, paying my dues out on the road, still booking every single show. A white hot country mess. You put men in charge of dressing rooms. There's beer and whiskey, that's assumed, but not a single mirror to be found. It's just dirty bathrooms, dingy lights, and dealing with a drunk sound guy. Hey buddy, could you turn the reverb down? I'm a white hot country mess in cowgirl boots and a thrift store dress, paying my dues out on the road, just a Gibson and the songs I wrote. A white hot country mess. You can really make this life look grand if you filter it on Instagram. Hashtag the Americana dream. But the truth is we're all hanging on by prayer and by song and a heavy drug addiction to caffeine. I'm a white hot country mess in cowgirl boots and a thrift store dress, paying my dues out on the road, still booking every single show. A white hot country mess. I'm a white hot country mess. No, there's nothing that I cannot do with a double latte and dry shampoo. I'm a white hot country mess. I'm a white hot country mess. I'm gonna move to the piano. Yes, oh, thank you. On. You know, as I was singing that song, I remembered that the best hospitality I've ever gotten when I played music was at this little festival in the UP of Michigan, and before tonight, and tonight was the best hospitality after that. Seriously, I want to just take a moment to thank Clint for bringing me here, and the whole team here at Westminster, and Barry for running sound back there, and thank you all so much for bringing me back. This is really such a treat for me. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. Well, the things that were in common with that festival and this one is that the people in charge of the hospitality in the green room there were a bunch of Midwestern grandmother church ladies, and they were awesome. I came in, normally you come to a festival, it's like, I don't know, you drive into some dirt parking lot and you're all weary from the road and there's like Subway sandwiches, and that's okay. You know, we're here to do a job. But I walked into the green room and these wonderful Midwestern grandmother church ladies had a whole buffet of homemade casseroles, and they had a special room just for the ladies to get ready with multiple mirrors, a steamer that was on, an ironing board. Oh, it was great. They need to run everything. This song is called Let 'Em Burn. White picket fence, a quiet street, faithful wife for 15 years, mother of 3. I go to church, I say my prayers, but I have never felt the breath of God in there. I followed every rule and played it safe, and I built myself a beautiful cage. The coffee's hot, the kids asleep. This is the only time I feel like I can breathe. But late last night, I locked the door and cried myself to sleep on the bathroom floor. 'Cause I lit a match and held it to my yearning, and found out I was a house already burning. I'm on the edge of something wild, on the edge of something free, on the edge of something reckless. I get down on my knees. If you don't recognize me when I come back around, it's 'cause all the things I thought I'd be, I let them all burn to the ground. I let them burn, I let them burn. I never dreamed I'd start this war. When I was young, I was so innocent and sure. I was afraid to be alone, so I wrote every vow of loyalty in stone. But is this the life I want for my own daughter? Just trying to keep her head above the water. What if desire is a gift and not a sin? What if this could be the start and not the end? I'm on the edge of something wild, on the edge of something free, on the edge of something reckless. I get down on my knees. If you don't recognize me when I come back around, it's 'cause all the things I thought I'd be, yes, all the things I swore I'd be, I let them all burn to the ground. I let them burn, I let them burn, I let them burn, burn, Thank you. Thank you so much. Are we going to get into what I call the Southern feedback loop? Thank you. No, thank you. But seriously, thank you. Thank you. And you're welcome. But really, the pleasure is mine. Those same rules apply in the Midwest. I wrote that song in a little Presbyterian church in Telluride, Colorado, where I was living at the time. I just moved to the other side of the mountains. I'm in a new town. And as the crow flies, it's like 10 minutes, but it's Colorado, so you have to drive around, so it's an hour. But I moved to a nearby town because an hour is nearby out west. But this little Presbyterian church in Telluride was such a home for me when I first moved there. I moved there all by myself. I didn't know anybody. And it was something that felt just beautifully familiar. And it's on the top of a hill looking out over the mountains. And it's about a third of the size of this sanctuary. It's like the whole church is the chapel. So it's very little. And during COVID, they were holding services remotely. And they have this beautiful Steinway grand piano, and nobody was playing it. And so I asked if I could play it. And so the pastor there gave me an extra key to the church and said, just come play whenever you want. And it was so quiet and peaceful and special. And to me, it's a thread back to where I came from. When I first went there, I recognized the prayers and some of the hymns, and it was even looser than this church. I remember in the 2000s when we added a contemporary worship service, and there was some controversy about that, about whether that counted as going to church. Can we have fun? Yeah, I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. If you were here, you remember that. But this church was even looser than the Presbyterian churches that I had been to. And I went to the first service, and Pat, the minister, a man with a PhD, retired Navy chaplain, started talking about what the stars were doing. He said, in his introduction to that day, he talked about wonder and awe and creation, and he told us what to look for in the sky that night. And I really loved that so much. So if you want to go to an even more loosey-goosey Presbyterian church, I can recommend one out in Colorado. We even got into a circle and held hands as we sang the recessional, and it was really fun. And then COVID happened, and we never did that again. So on that note, I wanted to sing this song. I think this might be the right key. This is this is one of my favorite songs on my album, American Siren. And it's one of those songs that took a really long time to write. I think I started writing it in 2018, and I finished it in 2021. And it's about trusting the ups and downs of the journey of life. It's called Every Day in Faith. Every day in faith I came. Every day in faith I came. And by some miracle beyond me, I found my way. 'Cause every day in faith I came. Some lessons, they were hard to learn. Some lessons, they were hard to learn. But I thank my darkest teachers for the scars that I have earned. Some lessons, they were hard to learn. If I'd seen the hills and valleys on the road, if I'd seen the hills and valleys on the road, I might have never had the courage to pack my bags and go. If I'd seen the hills and valleys on the road. I love you, and I swear I'll always will. I love you, and I swear I always will. I see you cross a crowded room, my heart it quickens still. I love you, and I swear I always will. 'Cause every day in faith I came. Every day in faith I came. And by some miracle beyond me, I found my way. 'Cause every day in faith I came. And by some miracle beyond me, I found my way. 'Cause every day in faith I came. Thank you. Let's see. I'm trying to decide which one to play next. Serious or uplifting? God, those were two serious ones in a row. So let me go with uplifting. Let's see. Great, okay. I should go up a half step. So, on this record that I made, American Siren, which is the red one out there, there's a white one, a black one, and a red one. I guess apparently I really like primary colors. And I recorded it in Asheville, and I wanted to have all North Carolina musicians. And so we had folks from Chapel Hill and Greensboro and Asheville play on the record. We only had one person who wasn't from North Carolina. He's a bass player from Seattle. We couldn't get a bass player in North Carolina, unfortunately, to commit to that. So we had one person, but we'll forgive him for that. And the last song on the record is actually the North Carolina State Toast. Does anybody know this toast? It's based on a poem. The toast goes, "Here's to the land of the long-leaf pine, to the summer land where the sun doth shine, where the weak grow strong and the strong grow great. Here's to down home, the old North State." Doesn't that just fill you with pride? It's so good. It turns out that there are 3 other verses, and they're all as good as the first one. And I thought, man, this is so good. And it's a poem that was written by a woman from North Carolina whose name I can't recall at the moment. It's a triple name because the South, so she has two first names. And she was living in Virginia for a little while. This is the story behind it that I could find on like North Carolina public records. And she wrote this poem. She was living in Virginia, and she got a group of friends together for dinner who were all from North Carolina, who were apparently bummed out that they were living in Virginia. And they wanted to gather together, celebrate their home state. She wrote this poem, and now it's in public domain. It's 150 years old. And so I turned it into a bluegrass song. Here's to the land of the long-leaf pine, to the summer land where the sun doth shine, where the weak grow strong and the strong grow great. Yeah, here's to down home, the old North State. Okay. I'm trying not to go too fast because there's a lot of words and I want you to hear them. Here's to the land where the cotton blooms white, where the scuppernong perfumes the breeze at night, where the soft southern moss and the jessamine mate, 'neath the murmuring pines of the old North State. Here's to the land where the galax grows, where the rhododendron's rosette glows, where soars Mount Mitchell's summit great, in the land of the sky, the old North State. Yeah, here's to the land of the long-leaf pine, to the summer land where the sun doth shine, where the weak grow strong and the strong grow great. Yeah, here's to down home, the old North State. Okay, this last verse is probably my favorite. Here's to the land where the maidens are fair, where friends are true and cold hearts are rare. Isn't that nice? The near land, the dear land, whatever our fate, the best land, the blessed land, the old North State. The best land, the blessed land, the old North State. The best land, the blessed land, the old North State. Thank you. I'm so glad you like that as much as I do. It's also sort of like a catalog of all the ecology of the state. And I really just, if anybody knows anybody with the North Carolina Tourism Board, I would love to have, I don't know, I mean, I feel like it's kind of an advertisement for our state. And also, I felt like it's very true. And so, it's so good to be home with you all. I totally lose track of time when I'm up here, and I didn't bring my phone on stage because of what happened the other day. Could somebody tell me what time it is? Perfect. That's perfect. One of the yoga instructors in our class the past few weeks said, you know, no matter how anybody does a pose, he said, it's perfect. Everything is perfect. And I kind of love that mantra. Everything is as it should be. Great, I'm going to sing a few more songs and then invite a special friend up to sing a couple with me. This is a song that I wrote for for my cousin, James, who was a veteran of Afghanistan. He served 2 tours over there and passed away in the fall of 2019. He died by suicide. And it was so unexpected, as that usually is, and completely tragic. He left behind a wife and 3 young kids. And it was the hardest thing that's ever happened in our family. And also, it, brought us all we were already very close. And it brought us together in a deeper way. And I wrote this song for him because his immediate family was really open about what happened, about what he'd struggled with and how he had died. And I think that was very brave because this is something that happens. On average, we have 20 veterans every day who die by suicide. And I think that is 20 every day too many to lose. So this is a song for him and for anybody who knows or loves someone who is a veteran or who we've lost in this way. You should be with us now. You should be here. We should be sitting by the fire on our second round of beers. We open the whiskey. We're out back in the shop. We're raising our glass to you, still numb from the shock. And you're the only one who's missing. It doesn't feel right. You should be tucking in your baby girl and kissing her goodnight. And your son is full of questions about how Daddy got to heaven. We never thought you'd go this way. You were only 27. Our hometown heroes in the news today. The flags are flying at half-mast. We buried you on a clear blue All Saints Day, to the lonesome sound of trumpet playing taps. You went to Afghanistan. You were only 19, and you never talked much about the things that you'd seen. You came back to your hometown to start a new life. Had a couple of babies and a beautiful wife. But the demons that you lived with, you hid well, we never saw. The guns that you kept loaded and the patches in the wall. She was in the kitchen making lunches, and the kids were in their beds. And in a flash we lost you to the war inside your head. Our hometown heroes in the news today. The flags are flying at half-mast. We buried you on a clear blue All Saints Day, to the lonesome sound of trumpet playing taps. To the lonesome sound of trumpet playing taps. And a father should never have to bury his own son. He throws a shovel full of dirt down, and we follow one by one. And your kids are gonna grow up asking about you, how you could love someone and leave them and how both things could be true. Our hometown heroes in the news today. The flags are flying a half-mast. We buried you on a clear blue All Saints Day, to the lonesome sound of trumpet playing taps. To the lonesome sound of trumpet playing taps. This next song is it's one about trusting that spring will come again during a dark time. This song I wrote in May of 2020. It's called "The Time for Flowers," and I didn't really know what to do with myself because I really missed playing for people in person. And I know people missed that. We all missed being together. And I think that we were doing what we knew was safest at the time. But it was hard to be so alone. And mostly I just wanted to give people some hope. I wanted to give myself some hope. I remember listening. I would go on these like 3 or 4 hour walks, which is how you know you're depressed. Oh my God. I had nothing to do with myself. I was going on these 3 or 4 hour walks, like listening to the news. It was not a good time. It was not good for me. And I remember somebody coming on a podcast, The Daily, saying, an epidemiologist saying it'll probably take 2 years for the music industry and the live event industry to recover. And I was like, what? No, 2 years? It's taken longer. But look, here we are, together, through all of it. This is about that. I went walking down the road with a heavy heart and miles left to go, when I came upon a woman in a field on her knees, singing ancient songs and sowing wildflower seeds. Tell me, what's the point in planting pretty things in these days of darkness and disease? The world is burning, have you not heard? And she smiled and said, honey, I've lived long enough to learn. The time for flowers will come again, maybe in 1 year, maybe in 10. There are days despair will win, but the time for flowers will come again. 'Cause I have witnessed funerals and wars, worried mothers, empty shells and empty stores. The storms will rage and the winds will blow, and you are gonna find out that you're stronger than you know. And the time for flowers will come again. Maybe in 1 year, maybe in 10. There are days despair will win, but the time for flowers will come again. And when I woke up this morning, something deep had shifted. The sun was coming out and the clouds had finally lifted. It's time to fix what's broken, all the willing and the able. And when our honest work is done, we'll gather at this table. We'll hold each other's babies and pour each other's wine, and promise to remember that your fate's bound up in mine. The skies are clear now, the moon is new. Let's raise a glass, my friends, we'll make it through. And the time for flowers has come again. And though it seemed the world would end, there were days despair did win. But the time for flowers has come again. The time for flowers has come again. Thank you all so much. I got one more song and then I'm going to bring an old friend on stage. Keep teasing it. You think, who could it be? You know, when I wrote that song, When I wrote that song, I attached a prayer to it. And that's something that sounds a little woo-woo to people who aren't spiritual or don't really pray. And so I don't often tell people that. But I knit a prayer like into the DNA of that song, and I just prayed that it would go out and be of service to anybody who needed it. That's all I wanted. Because that's actually what this job is about. That's what this is about. That's really what anyone who stands on this stage is doing, or is being of service to beauty and healing and truth and connection. And I released it with no attachments to what might come. I just wanted to share it. And 6 months later, I got a message from John Prine's son, who had heard it while he was out on a hike listening to Spotify. And he said, wow, this song, he said, this is probably the first time this year I could have really heard this song and received it. And thank you, this is really beautiful. We're big fans of your music. If you ever would like to work together, please let us know. And I was like, did I just get offered a record deal on... This was on Instagram. This was in my messages on Instagram. And basically, yes, that's what was happening. And so it was really beautiful that that song found its way, and it carried me on a journey that has been a very good journey. It's brought me here to you. So I am happy to sing this song tonight. This one is called Overalls. I sing it at all my shows. It's one of my favorite songs to sing. It is about a man who was a World War II veteran, And he lived into his 90s. And when it came time for him to go, and as he was passing, his whole family gathered around. I'm friends with one of his daughters, his youngest daughter. So his family all gathered around. You know, time kind of stops when you come together to be with someone as they're leaving this earthly world. And they all gathered around, and he wanted to tell everybody what his final wishes were for his service. He said he didn't want anybody to dress in black. And he wanted to be buried in his overalls with a pack of cigarettes and a lighter. And he told his family, y'all can sing Amazing Grace, but not all 6 verses. Because I ain't going to sit through that. He wore overalls to meet his king. Took a pack of Marlboro Reds and his wedding ring, and his 50-year-long faithful bride held his hand and walked him to the other side. He said, honey, I'm just so tired of being hooked up to 100 wires. I want to be in my own bed. Called the kids around and said, raise a glass to my good long life. Don't dress in black. Don't let me see you cry. I'm not afraid. I'm just headed home, and it's time to let me go. I probably shouldn't have survived April 1945. We buried half my company, and I wondered why it wasn't me. That's the year I learned to pray, just glad to wake up every day. I'm bound to see those boys again, rolling dice and cigarettes in heaven. So raise a glass to my good long life. Don't dress in black. Don't let me see you cry. I'm not afraid. I'm just headed home, and it's time to let me go. I kissed the ground after Japan, came back home to be a mailman, right here in Crossville, Tennessee. We built this farm to raise a family, and we planned for 4, but we had 5. Your baby sister was a big surprise. I know I don't have much to show, but I'm the richest man I know. So raise a glass to my good long life. Don't dress in black. Don't let me see you cry. I'm not afraid. I'm just headed home, and it's time to let me go. It's time to let me go. He wore overalls to meet his king, took a pack of Marlboro Reds and his wedding ring. Thank you. Okay. It is my honor and my pleasure to invite my dear friend and former Westminster Presbyterian Church Youth Group member, we grew up here together, Talfish, on stage. I'm sorry to give you like such a long introduction. I didn't want to embarrass you, but I'm just so excited that you wanted to sing with me. Move in a little closer. We're gonna look at each other. I'm so happy. I think that the last time Tal and I shared the stage, we were in a middle school version of Godspell, and you were Jesus.
Yes.
Yes. I think you may have been the only guy in the whole cast. I can't remember.
Probably.
Yeah. So it's so great to see you again and have you sing with me.
Tonight has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. I am blown away by your talent and your songwriting, and just to see the incredible woman that you have grown up to become. It's been absolutely breathtaking. I mean that. So thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. It's my privilege and my honor to be up here with you. But it really is. This is like my rock star moment, getting to sing with Emily, so thank you.
All right. We're going to sing one of our favorite songs for you all. This is Landslide. And we're going to do the kind of country version, the Chicks version. So let me tune. One of the reasons I love this song is it means so much to everybody. What was that thing that you sent me that was so funny?
Oh, it was a tweet or a meme or something from the last couple of years, and it said, one day you're a child and the next day you're in a car wash crying to Landslide. Because Emily had told me something funny about the song, and I was like, well, here's my favorite recent funny, but like true and, touching thing about the song as well.
It's amazing. Okay, let me make sure.
I took my love and I took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? I don't know. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, children get older, and I'm getting older too. Oh, Take my love, take it down. Oh, climb a mountain and you turn around. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide bring it down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide bring it down. Oh, the landslide bring it down.
Thank you. Okay, well, we have to do that all the time now, Tal.
Thank you so much again. We put that together at 5 p.m. and I was really nervous. So.
It was so amazing because Tal, like any professional, was like, okay, great. Well, are you around to rehearse? And I was like any touring musician, I was like, I'll be there an hour before the show. So we'll just learn it on the fly. And we had so much fun. And you're such an amazing singer and musician. So.
Joy to sing with you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm trying to remember the key we did this next one in. Let's see. Great. From those 3 notes, can you tell? Okay, great. Oh, well, we thought it would be nice to do a final song together that you all could sing with. And so this is Amazing Grace. And we are not doing all 6 verses. There are 6. There's actually 7. There's different versions and such, but honestly, these are the 4 best ones. I know that's a hot take, but they really are. And we would love for you to join us when you would like to. Okay, let's see. Just double check. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed.
Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace has brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tal. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you all. It sounds like you want one more song. Is that something you want?
Yes, they do.
Okay, all right.
So thanks for coming to Youth Sunday at Westminster.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot to mention the amazing backdrop behind me.
Oh.
The VBS time machine that I strongly considered making my entrance on stage through. There's a smoke machine and lights. It's awesome.
We had a pretty cool idea to put a picture of you as a child up there
Oh my
and then
God.
have you come out of the time machine.
Oh my God.
It worked!
That's amazing.
You ruined it, so thanks so much. No, this, as Clint probably mentioned, these things, our summertime sounds and so many other things we do here, especially with music, are made possible by our excellence in music endowment. And I think excellence in music encapsulates this. We are so fortunate.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome, and thank you. I just wanted to get in on it. We are certainly blessed not just to have two more great concerts this summer in our Summertime Sounds series, but especially to kick it off like this. This doesn't happen all the time. I mean, we had Graham, we've had you. I think we're out of really like high caliber musicians for a few years, but we've got some more waiting in the wings to get up there because we have people like Clint and Laura and people who have invested in this church and in our music ministry here, and you're a wonderful product of that. So thank you again. And please do buy merch.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah,
My
it's
mom,
a free concert, so.
That's true. My mom will be out there manning the merch table. Mom on merch.
Moms
And
get things done.
It's true, and I'll be out there to join her. I'll go put the guitar away and come out, and would just love to see you and hug you and say thank you.
Unless you don't know her, and then don't go hugging because that's weird. Let me give you a blessing, and then I'll let you take us out.
Thank you.
May the God of hope, the God of music, bring you joy and peace in your believing and in your singing, so that you may abound in that hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Y'all can sit down if you want to, or you can head out if you have to go. That's okay too. I thought I might play you one more song. It's a new one actually. That was such a nice blessing. Thank you, Sam. You're pretty good at that. It's a good thing they let you up here. It's so great. Oh. I love a good blessing. Sorry, hang on. I do this song at the very end of the night because there's no way I'm getting back out of this tuning. Any guitarists out there know. This is open C. Well, I guess this is one of the only songs I've written in the past 2 years. So much has happened in the world and in my life, and I went through some hard times and found that, like, when you go through grief, if you let your heart expand, on the other side, you have even more space. And everything feels a little more shimmery and magical on the other side. And so that's what this song is about. I wrote it, you know how everybody makes New Year's resolutions? And, for some of you, that is so good for you. Good for you. That's great. To me, January is the least inspiring time to decide to do something new with my life. And also, you know how between Christmas and New Year's, it feels like there's no time? Like it's this period of days where, especially if you're a parent, it's like endless, I'm sure. But there's this time sort of is nebulous. And I was at a friend's house in Colorado. It was snowy and beautiful. And we were celebrating the new year, and we built a fire outside, and we're under the stars and the snow. And I thought about how wonderful it was actually to just accept not knowing, to know that it was okay not to know what was coming next, and just to be there with that. So this is a hymn and a prayer. It's called Hymn for the Unholy. And I guess I don't really mean that anyone is unholy. What I actually mean is, like, sometimes you go through things in life and you don't feel very close to God during those times. They don't feel very holy. They just feel really raw and messy. And that is so holy. In the quiet of the new year, we will let our old dreams go. And when the spring comes, if we're ready, we can plant new ones to grow. But in the silence of this ending, let us gather in the snow. And it's okay if for tonight, dear, there are things you do not know. 'Cause we are standing on a mystery, we are spinning through the sky like the ones who came before us. Into the wilderness we fly. There's so much we have no hand in, but look how hard we try. I think that God is laughing with us. I think the stars are standing by. 'Cause I've worn diamonds to the party, I've worn borrowed, I've worn blue, and I've done every single goddamn thing I swore I'd never do. Here's a hymn for the unholy, for the savage and the true. You have only got one life, dear. Heed the voice that calls to you. And maybe there's a different ending to the fantasy you spun. All the breaking and the bending, half your life out on the run. All that time you think you wasted, look how many miles you've come. There's still air you've never tasted, and songs you've never sung. So in the quiet of the new year, we'll let our old dreams go. And when the spring comes, if we're ready, we can plant new ones to grow. But in the silence of this ending, Let us gather in the snow. And it's okay, for tonight, dear, there are things you do not know. No. It's okay, for tonight, dear, there are things you do not know. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Barry and Clint and the whole team. Blessings to all of you. Thank you.